2025 can't come any sooner. So straight out of the Yuri goddess's lips and into our ears, we recently got the announcement of a monster wants to eat me getting an anime. And I, for one, am quite jubilant from the sudden revelation. I've been following this series ever since it debuted in 2020, and personally hold it in very high regard. It definitely gets my coveted seal of approval, that's for sure. When I first read it, I really thought that the series lent itself quite well to a cinematic or television experience. So I was simply anticipating the news of it getting an anime someday. And boom! Naikawa Sai's beloved romantic drama is
In this video, we'll be doing the monster wants to eat me reaction. When I first heard about this monster wants to eat me, I laughed. It sounded ridiculous. Another edgy anime with a shock value title, right? But then I watched it, and I realized something. This isn't just some weird monster story. This might actually be one of the most interesting new anime this year.
Finally realized in animated form. So for those who are less educated, let me do a quick rundown on what the manga is about. And don't worry, I'll keep this video relatively spoiler free. The series follows a young girl named Yatose Hinako, whose life turned into ultra nightmare difficulty mode after experiencing a tragic event in her youth. While she and her family set off on a trip, an accident befell them, which caused their car to plunge into the depths of the ocean, killing both her parents and older brother, and leaving Hinako the sole survivor. Since then, Hinako struggles to wash away the ever-present pain and guilt of this ordeal, and on many occasions even contemplates her place in the world. One day, on her way to school, she encounters a peculiar girl named Shiori, who claims to know Hinako for reasons unknown. Later, she ends up saving Hinako after nearly getting her goose cooked by a sea monster, and it turns out that Shiori was a freaking mermaid. But this fish has claws, baby. Shiori then explained that she wishes to eat Hinako when the time is right, and the latter expresses silent joy at the prospect of finally being able to end her personal torment. Thus, a tumultuous and quirky relationship begins. Now, I know all that sounded like spoilers for an entire season of anime, but it pretty much happened all in the first chapter of the manga. It's also in the synopsis of the series, and kind of in the trailer too. But yeah, this is one of the more intriguing Yuri mangas I've read, and
Because underneath all the chaos, there's something real going on here. It's about fear, loneliness, and the idea that sometimes the monsters we run from are the only ones who truly see us.
really appreciate the deep themes of humanity, loss, and purpose. It does suffer a bit from the occasional exposition dumping though, and an important thing to note is that the Yuri itself was kind of subtle in the beginning. It's still currently ongoing too, and I think I was somewhere around chapter 40 or something when I took a break from it. But overall, it's a great and engaging story. So with that being said, let's talk about what we know about the anime so far. Now, Watatabe, as it's known colloquially, is apparently being made by Studio Lings, which for those who don't know has only made 4 other anime, all of them being Yuri too. So I guess that's their company agenda or something. I can dig it. I definitely enjoyed Yuri as my job in the first Omuro K movie. But the thing is, Studio Lings had help from Pashan in making those 2 anime. This time, they're working solo on Watatabe apparently. I mean, I guess the trailer looks okay, but I've been in this game long enough to remain somewhat skeptical before seeing the final product. Yeah, I'm still feeling the after effects, man. And let me tell you, it feels like shit. But speaking of the animation, I want to briefly talk about how this anime might look. So the base animation and character designs look fine, but something I'm curious about is how they'll animate the monsters. They're pretty striking in terms of designs, and pose quite the contrast to everything else in the series. So I imagine they'll probably take a different approach in animating them. If you want a good example of this, take a look at the ghosts in Maruko-chan. They use a different style from them, which makes them stand out from everything else in the show. But most importantly, they're fucking creepy as fuck. This is something that Studio Lings will have to deliver on, making the monsters threatening and scary.
The concept sounds simple. A human trapped with a creature that literally wants to devour them. But every episode flips that dynamic on its head. The monster isn't just a predator. It's a metaphor for everything people try to bury. Trauma, guilt, desire, survival. And the writing, it knows that. The tension isn't just physical. It's emotional. You start to realize this monster might not be evil. It's hungry, yeah, but it's also curious, lost, almost human. And that's what makes it so powerful. The further you go, the more you realize that maybe the line between human and monster doesn't exist at all.
And that includes Yuri's mermaid form. Speaking of the titular monster, let's take a look at who's voicing the characters. Unfortunately, the only character to be cast so far is Hinako, who by the way is being played by industry veteran Ueda Reina, who you may know for her roles as other Yuri legends, such as Miyako from Wataten, Nagafuji from Adachi and Shimamura, and Suzu-chan from Asteroid and Love. Now there's only really 3 characters in the series: Hinako, Shiori, and Miko, Hinako's foxy childhood friend. But I'm sure whoever's going to be voicing the remaining 2 will do a fine job. I mean, it's not like we're strapped for talent in the voice acting industry. So another question is, how much will they show from the manga? Well, assuming we're getting 12 episodes, I think there's a good chance we can see more than the first 30 chapters being animated, with hopefully enough time to finish Miko's backstory arc. That'll be a great way to cap off the season. And to be honest, there are things in the manga you can probably speed the pacing of, especially Miko's arc. It does kind of drag on a bit. But don't get me wrong, everything else in the manga is very well paced. I mean, we're dealing with a somber drama of a story here, not a high-octane slapstick comedy. So it definitely has to take its time. So yeah, overall, very good news for Yuri fans. I just pray that everything goes smoothly as the series transitions into animate form. Lord knows that's been dicey at best recently. Anyway, let me know what you think of this. Have you read the manga? And what do you think they can do to change things up for the anime? Share your thoughts below. And before I go, I just want to briefly update everyone on the anime I'm currently watching this season. As you know, fall 2024 is exceptionally dry when it comes to Yuri, but that doesn't mean it's devoid of good shows. The 3 anime I'm watching are Acro Trip, Magi Lumiere, and of course, Season 3 of Love Live Superstar. Acro Trip and Magi Lumiere are actually really good so far, and a lot funnier than I was expecting. I will say that even though there's no overt Yuri in them, there's definitely some quality shipping to be had. And finally, Superstar is the highlight of the week for me, but I obviously have to say that since I'm biased as hell. But so far, the Yuri shipping in it is same old, same old. I mean, the Shaky Mei episode was fantastic, of course, but I can't help but wish for them to push the envelope a bit. Like I said in my last Let's Talk Yuri video, we're due for the franchise to give us a major breakthrough in relationships, especially since it's the first time a Love Live Gen received the 3rd season. But there's still plenty of episodes left, and I remain optimistic that we'll eventually see fireworks. Anyway,
The atmosphere, the visuals, the voice acting, everything feels uncomfortably alive. The sound design drips with unease. Every conversation feels like it could turn into a scream at any second. It's horror, but it's intimate horror, and that's what sets This Monster Wants to Eat Me apart. It's not just about what's scary, it's about what's real. The monster isn't just there to terrify the main character, it's there to reveal who they really are. That's why I think this show might actually be great, because it's using fear to say something human. It's not just about being eaten, it's about being understood.